New hair, same me, still obnoxious. Today's video is about another game show, The Price is Right. Do you ever sit there on weekday mornings at 10 a.m. watching CBS and you're like, how do you get on this show? What happens at tapings for these shows? Is this even a real show? Does this actually exist? Are we sure that Drew Carey is a real person? I went to The Price is Right last Sunday, so I'm going to answer all those questions and we are just going to discuss The Price is Right. Alright, so basically in this video, I'm not just going to share a bunch of fun facts and stuff, I'm going to more discuss the process of the show, how it's done, how you get on it, what you do. So basically you go online to their website and you get tickets. There are general tickets and priority tickets. Priority tickets you have to get like 2 months in advance, which means you automatically are guaranteed a seat at the show. If you get general tickets, it's a first come first served basis. So McKenna and I had general tickets just because we didn't know the difference. We get there and you wait in line outside of CBS for a while. We got in line at 11:30 for the 1 o'clock opening. There were already probably 30 people in line ahead of us. So you have to get there pretty early. Depending on the show, I think they average maybe about letting 70 people in. Maybe. It kind of depends on the show. Sometimes they let in like 30 general people. Sometimes they let in like 70. I think on our day they let in about 70 just because there weren't quite as many people on a Sunday afternoon. Made friends with the people in line behind us and in front of us, and it's just one of those things where you camp out like on Black Friday. People still do that and that's awful. We did get cleared to go in. So you go through security the first time. Just check your ID to make sure you're a real person. You go down further, then they check to make sure you don't have any watches. So you can have an old one that just has like the hands that go around, but like this digital watch, all it does is tell time from Target. I had to take this back to the car. And that was after I was already in at the end security, and they were like, oh, you have to go back to your car. And I'm like, I'm literally parked 2 miles away, so I had to like run. That was crazy. So no smartwatches, no Fitbits, no digital watches. If it has anything besides hands, no. I would just say don't bring a watch, honestly. Save yourself, just don't bring a watch. So then you go and you have to fill out a form that says like, you agree to pay taxes on everything if you win. You have to sign that you don't have any relatives or anybody working for CBS, stuff like that. You go take that in, they check your ID to make sure you're a real person once again. Then you go take a picture in front of the green screen or you get The Price is Right background. Then they cost $20 per picture. So if you think you're gonna get cool pictures, you're not, unless you want to pay 20 bucks. We didn't. Anyway, so then you stand in line again for probably another hour and a half. And this is where the interviews are going to be happening. So what we thought is they were going to be regular interviews, like you would go and one at a time they'd be like, okay, so what do you do for a living? Why are you here? You know, that's what I thought it would be. No, basically, once you get up to the end, because they have, 270, I think, total spots. I think they go in groups of about 20. And so basically you line up in front of the guy who chooses people. This is not a random process like you would think. When you're watching the show, you would just think, oh, the announcer's probably just like picking people out of a hat or something, everybody who showed up. No. So this guy, I can't remember his name, but he's the one in charge of it. He's like the interviewer guy, and he basically asks where you're, what you do for a living. Well, for McKenna and I, we were broke college students for a living, so we said that. He didn't really care. He doesn't care unless you have something really cool that you do. So you have like 5 seconds to impress him with what you do for a living. And this guy like picks people that he likes based on your number. So you have your regular name tag you see on TV, and then you have a number so they can like number you. Then when you're done with your little interview thing, which was so dumb, he was like, so what do you do for a living, Samantha? And I'm like, I'm a broke college student at Pepperdine. And he's like, alright, cool. Moved on to the next person. So basically he doesn't really care too much. He's just interested to see if anybody looks cool enough and looks excited enough to be on television. So then afterwards he goes over to his assistant, puts down your number, and so basically he's got this pool of numbers. Now out of that, the people who are picked for that aren't just automatically called up. You're in that little pool of picked people, and then you're chosen randomly by the crew, or randomly. We actually don't know about that part. You're picked randomly before the show, and they have your name actually written on cue cards. So if you can't hear Drew Carey because you're clapping and screaming so much, yeah. Basically, then once you get in, they have a last security where they go through everything. Make sure you have no watches. That's what I had. They go through everything of your bag and everything, just to make sure there's nothing. And they take everyone's phones. If you're gonna go, leave your phone in the car. I took my phone back when I took my watch back, but McKenna still had her phone. And so they took it and put it in their little box. I suppose it's an okay system. They give you a number that is attached to your phone, and so you have to go pick it up afterwards. Really long process, but whatever. I understand, because they don't want people distracted by their phones or taking pictures while they're in there. Anyway, so you get in, and basically you're just, there's a little bit more waiting in line. Probably another half hour or so, or maybe an hour. I spent like a half hour almost running back 2 miles and then back 2 miles. The studio is so cool. Like, it's really small, and you would have no idea, because on TV it looks huge. Like all the prizes and everything, and it's crazy. I mean, the backstage is pretty big because, you know, they have to fit 100 cars or whatever. But it's actually a really small studio, and it's really cool. It's got super 70s vibes, and it's really neat. Way cooler than the Wheel of Fortune studio. No offense to them, you guys are still great, but the Price is Right studio is so cool. So you're sitting there, and we actually were sitting in probably the worst seats in the house. It was like behind George, the announcer, because he's at one side, and then the stage. So we were like right behind George, so we could just see like George and half the stage the whole time. We talked to George a little bit actually, because he felt bad that we were sitting in terrible seats, so he talked to us a little bit and liked our shirts. Our shirts said, "Pay for my college, Drew." He's very friendly and talked to people, sign things for people, ask them where people are from. But then Drew comes out, everybody goes crazy because Drew is so cool, right? Actually, Drew is hilarious. When we're on commercial break, he's got a very small filter, so he says a lot of things that can't go on live television, or recorded television or any sort of game shows. Unless you're Steve Harvey, then you can get away with a little bit of stuff. Anyway, so Drew and George are awesome. They've got a really good DJ too, who plays music at the top and bottom of the show, like during commercials and stuff, and so cool. Anyway, so the show's going. They call people up, and it is so loud in there because you have to be screaming and clapping the entire time, just like Wheel of Fortune. But like, screaming, laughing, clapping, excitement. So much excitement in one room. You jump up, half the show is just standing like, yeah, let's go, you win that refrigerator. You can't hear when they're gonna call names. So you can just hear like, sometimes you can hear the come on down, but you can't even hear the name. So they have cue cards for it. I think it would have been a lot more fun if we had like priority tickets or something. We didn't have to wait in line for so long, because if we get priority tickets, we probably wouldn't have to go stand in line until maybe like 12:30 to get in at 1, just so you're not late. But that's okay, because I had a lot of fun. It was really great to learn about it, and George felt bad that we had to sit like right behind him, so he actually took a Price is Right shirt and signed it. He said, "Sam and McKenna, come on down," and then signed it for us. So we have that hanging over on our wall. You know what? That's something about game show announcers. Maybe, I don't know. They're so cool, because Jim from Wheel of Fortune is awesome, and then George from Price is Right is awesome. Alright, so some things to keep in mind if you go. Get there early if you're general, but try to get priority tickets, just so you don't have to get there so early. Second, just try not to wear a watch, because they are kind of weird about it. 2 of the security people told me that it was totally fine to have a watch like this because it's not a smartwatch. But then, as soon as I get to the final security checkpoint, the worst one to tell me to take it off. I should have just hid it in a plant or something. And also, leave your phone in the car if you don't trust them. I'm glad I put mine in the car just because I was kind of like concerned about the whole process of taking their phones and stuff. So I'm glad I left mine in the car. Be really enthusiastic if you go. Not that that's going to guarantee you a spot, but you got better chances of getting on the show, and you'll just have more fun. And every single person in the studio, whether you're called down or not, is on television. So look out for me on sometime in May. I don't know. I did not get called down. I did not win anything. George gave us the shirt, so it's hanging on our wall. We still have the name tags, which are iconic. It was a good time, and I'm glad I went. So next week I'll be on spring break, but I'm gonna have that video that I keep talking about just once last week. It is going to be a college related video, so stay tuned for that. Those are always fun ones. This one's gonna be hopefully really cool. So look for that video next week after you like, comment, subscribe on this video, pay for my college and stuff. I think that's it. So see you all next Wednesday.